because millions of people are speaking up with true facts. This is why they are scared. The Zionist intimidation campaigns are escalating worldwide, attempting to silence the voice of the brave individuals standing against this genocide. This includes the recent attacks on the courageous students' movement standing with Gaza and Palestine and Mahmoud Khalil.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Up with liberation!
Down, down with occupation!
Down, down with occupation!
Say it loud and say it clear!
Say it loud and say it clear!
ICE is not welcome here!
ICE is not welcome here!
The United States government, after arresting our client, Mahmoud Khalil, spirited him overnight to Louisiana in order to avoid the jurisdiction of the courts in New York and New Jersey. We were here to insist that the court take jurisdiction of this case, bring him back to New Jersey, and then immediately thereafter rule on his request for release, request for bail, and rule on his broader petition that his detention is unconstitutional because, as we said in court, this is not any routine immigration case or habeas transfer case. This is a case where the United States government has created a policy targeting Palestinian activists and specifically Mahmoud Khalil for arrest, detention, and potential removal because the United States government disagrees with his constitutionally protected right to dissent from U.S. foreign policy.
Why are the Zionists so afraid from Mahmoud Khalil? Why? Because there are millions of Khalils around the world who are standing up against the Zionist propaganda lies in the street. Because our voices is so strong, because millions of people are speaking up with true facts, this is why they are scared. The Zionist intimidation campaigns are escalating worldwide, attempting to silence the voice of the brave individuals standing against this genocide. This includes the recent attacks on the courageous students' movement standing with Gaza and Palestine and Mahmoud Khalil. Just yesterday, I attended an emergency iftar fundraising for Gaza. I had the opportunity to hear from 3 doctors who recently returned from Gaza. When I returned home, I told my family members that what I have heard in just 1.5 hours is enough for me to come out every day on the streets to protest this genocide. We do not need to explain why we are here on the streets. The people who are not here, they should explain why they are silent.
That's right!
Our grandparents have been killed in the Holocaust. When they would have such courageous persons as Khalil, they would be safe. They would be happy to have the students' movement on their sides while they have been murdered by the Nazis in Auschwitz. But the world was silent then, and the world is silent again. We are standing now after almost 18 months of genocide, one of the most horrific scenes in the world, broadcasted live on TV and social media. It's our duty, it's the duty of every righteous person to stand up and say no. Of course, they try to accuse the pro-Palestinian movement as anti-Semitic and the Jewish people who are standing up as self-hating Jews. But we are here today to counter the Zionist lies and say no, we as Jewish people, we are here to say that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitic. The Jewish people around the world, true to our religion, true to the Torah, are here today to clarify that standing in Palestine is our duty as Jewish people. are here today as proud Jews to demand an end to Zionism and an end to their crimes, a long chain of violence and bloodshed to the whole world. Let me remind all of you that the whole idea of Zionism, creating a so-called Jewish homeland during exile, is against our religion. The leaders of the Zionist movement, Dieter Herzl, wrote in his diary that he is against the Jewish religion. This is the true face of Zionism. But now, as these crimes unfold and the Zionists have shed rivers of blood since the establishment of the state, Jewish people are standing up and declaring, this is not Judaism. We also need to remind ourselves of the beautiful peace that did exist in Palestine prior to the movement of Zionism, a beautiful peace. The Zionists don't want you should hear this, but we lived in peace. The only problem is this brutal occupation for over 76 years. Blood on both sides, Jews and Palestinians. The Zionists are responsible for this bloodshed. No matter how many times they will repeat their propaganda lies, we will stand fast. We will stand with Mahmoud Khalil. To those brave students who are standing up, we Jewish people admire them and urge them to continue their courageous stance. I will conclude that I am pleading with the world leaders, I am pleading with President Trump, the senators, all the officials. We are pleading they should stop the Zionist propaganda and release all who are standing on the right side of history. The evil Zionist movement will not be forever. We will see soon a free Palestine. Then they will be on the right side in the history sooner nowadays. Thank you.
It's terrifying. It's very. Hopefully, people will get more activated and more people will be coming out. Because if we don't stand up to it, we're going to lose all our rights.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what does it say? This genocide has been going on for 18 months.
It's horrendous, horrible.
You know, what does it say about our government that this happened? This has been happening under both Democrats and Republicans. What does it say about our government?
They're bipartisan, like warmongers. So that's what it says. And
Yeah.
It's just sad that there's such a double standard, and it's like some people are terrorists and they can kill them, and other people we can obliterate their whole families and nobody gives a shit. And it's like I don't understand it. I don't understand it, especially killing children. There's no excuse for killing any children. Israel children, Jewish children, no children should ever be killed.
Right. Right. And you know, we saw for years.
Children should be off limits.
Absolutely.
Schools, hospitals, it's all war crimes.
Absolutely. And you know, now they're targeting using AI. So AI is.
Right, Terry?
Yeah, they're using this AI system to blast targets. And
horrifying. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
It's very terrifying. It's like robotic warfare is just, like it's like science fiction is becoming more and more like reality, and it's
And you know, Trump and Republicans for years have ranted about democratic censorship and cancel culture, but now what we're seeing here with the deportation crusade.
Yeah, we're canceling human beings. Yeah.
Does this expose Republicans and the Trump administration for what they really are?
Republicans, oh yeah, it's like they're complicit in it. They're just, they're going along with this horrible regime and what they're doing, and I mean, people who lived through the Holocaust, it's like they're seeing it happening all over again, and it's just.
The Trump administration thinks that with a targeted and vicious attack on our comrade and brother Mahmoud Khalil and on every student of conscience, that he can set an example and he can try to scare us into submission. But will we let that happen? No! Will we let that happen? No! I don't know if they thought that they would silence us or that this would scare us, or that we would stay home. But will we stay silent? No! Will we stay silent?
No!
Is this full-on fascism that we have here now?
I don't see how you see it any other way, but as I was leaving my house, for whatever it's worth, you know, U.S.-born citizen, I said, I got to make sure that I bring my ID, because I don't know if I'm going to be snatched, and there's no, you know, way of knowing with this government, with the, you know, whether it's ICE or the police. There's never any way of knowing what might happen. Particularly as a black woman, you know, we're concerned about our kids, particularly black men, you know, going out into the street. At any point, they can be, you know, snatched.
Right.
How is this much different?
Right.
It's really scary times.
And it doesn't matter what you're protesting or what you're speaking out against. This should concern everybody,
Absolutely.
every American.
Absolutely. I was just talking to some of my black activists about the fact that we need more black folk out here, because this impacts all of us. All of us are really under siege at this point. So you're right. I think it's something that we all need to be conscious of and concerned about and pushing back against.
And what's in your opinion, what's the best way to fight back against fascism?
I think by being present, by whether it's in your own way, showing up at local demonstrations. There's this big, huge demonstration that's going to be taking place in Washington, D.C. on April 5th. Those who can, get on a bus. You know, there's easy ways to get there. Show your, you know, your face. Show your opposition to the fact that the government, I mean, this young man is a sweetheart. I mean, I've had a chance to actually hear him speak. He's not all of all of what is being claimed that he is. He's somebody who has really been about how do we connect the students with the administration and trying to address this very serious problem that we've got internationally, and trying to really kind of connect people. That's admirable and something that we ought to be lifting up. So I think by knowing what's going on, by being present, just starting that way is a way in which people can connect.
Yeah, and you know, for years, Trump and Republicans have been ranting about democratic censorship and cancel culture and all this stuff, and now they're on this deportation crusade that they have going on. Does this expose them for who they really are? Yeah,
I think it's clearly hypocritical. The language that gets used, and it's not just with Trump and his cronies, but I think often the language gets co-opted. So language that activists, that students, use to really expose the hypocrisy and the injustice often gets kind of turned on its head and used by the administration and those in the administration who want to see this kind of choking of the people, of students, activists taking place on a regular basis. But absolutely, this is the hypocrisy is real clear, I think.
Yeah. And one more question. What does it say about our government that, you know, it's been 18 months of this genocide? I mean, so many people have been killed.
Yes.
What does it say about our government, where both Republicans and Democrats, this happened under both of them?
Yeah.
What does it say about our government?
I think that's you really pointed to it. It's the Democrats, it's the Republicans. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot of difference when you're really looking at the injustice of what our government has stood behind, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on. And I think when you've got somebody like Biden and all of the Democrats, you know, standing side by side in many ways with the Republicans, it's real clear. And the last thing I would just say is that when you look at, you know, the support that has been given to the Israeli government, to Netanyahu, all with the claim that, you know, he's standing up for justice for the Israeli people. That's, I think, a false narrative, and one that we have a responsibility to push back against. And seeing some of the folk that are here representing, you know, this vast diaspora of people, even within the, you know, Israeli diaspora, is really important, so that people are conscious that this isn't the same old narrative isn't working anymore.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's also an important piece, that a way that people can participate and engage.
Yeah, it's definitely fascism. I mean, we see that the Trump administration is making up any excuse they want to, which basically is, we don't agree with your politics, and then they say we can disappear people, we can disappear them off the street, send them to Louisiana, send them to Guantanamo Bay, send them to some dystopian jail in El Salvador. It's absolute nonsense, and it is fascism. And what do we need to do about it? We have to stand up, we have to be out here, we have to say we're not going to tolerate it. We can't be afraid, because all of this the Trump administration does, it's showing that they're weak and that they are insecure. And so we need to be out here. We need to say there's nothing you can do to stop this movement, and we're not going to allow this to happen, not allow it to continue.
Absolutely. And you know, for a couple of years now, we've been hearing Trump and Republicans talk about democratic censorship and, you know, everything that they've done for the past couple of years. But now we're seeing what they're doing. Does this expose them as what they are, hypocrites?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's been suppression of Palestinian organizing under Democratic and Republican administrations. Obviously, you know, the Trump administration is more open in their fascist repression, but, you know, it's shameful that the genocide that's happening in Palestine, and we're not, you know, there's a suppression of the ability to even speak out against that. It's shameful.
The truth is that the mass consciousness on Palestine has dramatically shifted and changed around the world. The truth is that we have all been transformed through this movement. The truth is that the people, the millions, the masses around the world stand with Palestine.